anyway, isn't it? You never really know. Sure, you can have statistics, but you never really know how's the map feeling on a day. What's the feel of the map?
What's the feeling today? What's the weather like? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We'll find out. Cafe.
Imagine if maps had weather.
That would be just a pouring rain coming out. I was going to say, it says cafe on the top, but it's bank here. So it's like cafe on the overlay. What's it?
This is gone.
There we go.
It's back.
There we go. Bank. Okay. Ying band. Thatcher band might feel or go into Arcade as well. Either by Heroic or Navi. Probably by Heroic, as they will be attacking first. Funds are coming out. Of course, trying to make some fun here as well. Valkyrie band. Okay, so bank, of course, a very big map, an open map. Cameras to hide in many different positions will give you so much information as a defense-sided team. So getting rid of that one, I totally understand myself. And as the gate gets banned by Navi, that one is still off the board indeed. So hatches should be quite easy to open up, especially if you think about all the heartbreach gadgets or can openers that nowadays are on the board. Capitao, for example, brings them, but also Buck and, if I'm correct, also Fuse. So that could be, you know, a good start here for the side of Heroic. Would they to be going downstairs? But they're not. They're going towards the open area first.
You like building a whole spiel
sometimes.
About a site that they didn't even go to.
You know, I just expected they were going down there. Instead, they went from open area for now. There's still hatches here. There's still things to be fused and to be heartbreach gadgeted.
They might change off. They have that possibility now, but we get in. We get into a showdown here. Heroic. They have been performing very well. They've been performing better than I think people expected them to be playing. Obviously, the biggest curse of Heroic last split. We're only on Playday 3. Last split last season was a sort of ups and downs. They were consistently finding a vibe and then losing it 2 weeks later. Navi, they are unfortunately struggling so far. They haven't really been able to get into the full swing of things. They'll have fantastic halves, and then they'll get onto attack and things start to fall away from it. Here on Bank, with these bans, I think the attack is in kind of a good place. I think they have enough that they can sort of work and finance, but it's putting your work in here on the defense, where Navi have generally been performing a bit better.
There's definitely opportunities here for either side. Grizzly ready on top of the bank here on the roof, putting up some of these barricades. Small amounts of damage already done towards Sloth, not quite sure where that came from. And Thunder trying to hide. Hoping that he will not be spotted, looking to go for a bit of a challenge. Needs to be very careful though, because that was a player up on those windows about to be putting a bullet between his eyes. Good gun, of course, watching. They should be well aware of someone being up here near the CEO area. But as the hallway besides is already being stormed here by the side of Heroic, he might find some contact soon.
Now, Thunder's just going to be trying to survive for as long as possible. If he can slip out of here, bonus. He has a couple of potential escape routes, but you can see how much drone, how much attention is being paid to him. They've locked off the corridor behind him. Sloth is just round the corner. His awareness of that player, of that potential for this rotate, well, now he's aware. The lines weren't up, and there's the catch from the window. Gona locked it off, and in that opening minute 30, minute 20, they've been able to get control of the top floor. They've got the bodies inside. They knew they had every single route out for that player, and now it's just seeing if they can try and work this mobility downwards. The quad wall still stands heavily reinforced. It's going to be no Thatcher, but no Kaid, so anything that might try and slow it down is just the impact tricks with the holes above.
Yeah, for sure. And as the Excars are about to be blowing off, we still have secretly down in the basement. Nave now jumps down as well, but of course is the Oryx, so there's easy ways back up. And I feel like he might be headed towards the lobby hatch. That one has been opened up before, looking for the perfect moment to strike here. As that's the first kill on the side of Navi to come through. At least no kill yet. Uno has been down, but might be confirmed by a jump out or a nitro cell. Toss out here, and that's Uno gone.
Worth doing. It's, you know, you're netting that kill. You're guaranteed it. Blur's able to put the diffuser cold, but most importantly, take out the Buck, take out that player on that window, because it's kind of a big rotate. You've got to pull somebody off from already inside, or worst case, the other side of the building. We saw them putting pressure onto the top of the white stairs, but still, there's still this other structure that needs to pay a bit of focus for. Navi, they now have for themselves that little bit of a balance back in. They have a little bit more control underneath. They can try and go for those big play rotates they've done before, but with only less than 30 seconds, Heroic, they've got to start trying to angle themselves down. Here the pressure's coming over Stock. The drop onto the hatch is instantly picked up. They look for a second, can't quite find the response, but it's Blur and Yak all over the site itself. Spraying into all the smoke. Sloth is the last to arrive, gets one, gets impacted, and gets dropped. Na'Vi locking an opener.
Tried to run for some cover there, unable to find it in time before the Alda was able to spot him and take him out. So the opener indeed for Na'Vi. Good start here. Even though they lost that very first gunfight up on the top, they lost their roamer. Some time was definitely wasted. And when Uno tried to challenge through from the little side window near the copy, I think it's a copy window, instantly challenged by the Pils, taken in the DBNO state, C4 tossed in to secure, and that's a diffuser down as well. So extra time being wasted there. They needed to recover that. And all in all, Heroic not having enough ground, not having enough time in the end there to make sure that they could still mount a good attack. Now, Na'Vi are headed towards the next first floor site. It's the Archives and the Tellers, and this is a site that is not often played anymore due to the fact that, of course, everything is vertically openable above it. And Uno, currently still on that fuse, is going to be having a field day if they are unable to contest that top floor. And yes, there is a lot of utility currently being put up on this top floor. 3 castle barricades, a bunch of reinforcements, Surya laser gates. They probably will see some vertical angles to be deployed towards the CEO as well by Blur's mechanical arm. All just, of course, to stop them from taking that control and to hold on for as long as you possibly can.
Now, the previous round in open, Blur and Yak, they did most of the holding inside the site itself and netted pretty much all the kills. The roam game that came through underneath in that back line of the other 3 didn't quite connect. Sure, Secretly was playing the castle then before, but we saw him at least flirting with the dangers of the top of the white stairs. Here, they've kind of juggled roles a little bit. It is the possibility of a very aggressive lineup from those 3. Thunder is now onto the Maestro, the Alda, and anything else that it might offer. In fact, not even the Alda. It's the...
I
want to call it an AA-12.
No, it's the ACS.
I know,
something
but
like
it's
that.
just
Yeah, I get
sound
it.
and satisfaction makes me think of an AA-12.
It might be modeled after it. I don't know. Or the idea behind it. It's a lot of damage towards Sloth, though, with the DMR that Blur carries. And it's going to be, in the meantime, Yak actually in the cover. But Nave is somehow finding a way to secure Sloth there as he opens fire onto his teammate. And that's going to be the opening kill for Na'Vi, with them now trying to stay put up on that top floor. There's angles from every single direction on the side of Heroic, but they're not able to find any of these kills. But they need to be careful, though. Benja is looking to sneak down. If he just stands up, he might see the head of one just crawling around there. Secretly takes a lot of damage, but he survives, and that's the most important part here.
Well, with a little bit of damage done back across a couple of different Na'Vi players, they're going to see if they can just try and hold themselves back. But Uno, he's able to get just the fleeing tail of Blur. Big player on the previous round, and a bit of revenge from the C4 that popped him out on the already downed open window, which, to be fair, was also the work done by Blur before. Uno still has the kit in pocket. And as the roll of the fuse, he's going to see if he can try and steadily, as he said, get closer and closer towards all of that soft vulnerability above. It was picked out before, but it's always still that possibility of creating something on the couple of different pockets that this map offers. Even down in the basement and the hard hatches with Kaid, Fuse might be able to have a pretty good day at the office, and it could start here.
Yak, though, in the elevator in a crucial role here. If he manages to pick up the skill, which he does, that is going to be taking down Grizzly. Instantly goes down the elevator, uses the bailiff to drop down another level here. So Heroic will be left guessing, unknown, unsure where he has gone at this moment in time. And with 40 seconds left on the clock, that is going to be a crucial play to come through. Main stairs also not under control. Benja is trying to achieve that, but I believe it's Nave just waiting one level further down. He will be spotted, so they will be aware. A grenade might be tossed around the corner as Secretly gets picked up. Benja needs to make sure that these stairs stay within Heroic's control, because otherwise there's no way for them to go for a side push.
Well, Benja takes the head off of Nathan. Can't quite find Thunder on the second follow-up. There is that kick, that hefty gun, and there's Yak finding the diffuser, leaves just a single player, and they're able to catch them on the swing on the other side of the site. Na'Vi, 2 in a row for their opener here. It was a little bit closer to the wire there, but still keeping Heroic at bay, and that's the difference. That's the distance they got to try and put in here. Heroic opted to start on their attacks.
Now, what you saw there actually is that top floor hold came in quite crucial because they wanted to play with that fuse. They wanted to play vertically. And what they did is they brought the hold that you often see on the top floor for the top floor, which is these long angles towards CEO, towards the top of square. They used those in a way to stop them from taking that top floor control as well. At the same time, you have someone on stock, you have someone on the top of square, and you have someone all the way in the office as well, holding these long angles. Sure, it's a very heavy hold. There's 3 people up there. And that means that if it does go wrong, it goes wrong very badly. But it also gives you a bit of an extra grasp if you want to hold on to that top floor or try and take an early engagement to go your way. And it went their way. Navi able to pick up O2 now on the tertiary side, which is the basement. Not something you would often say. There's a mirror on the board. This carries a C4, secretly with a C4 as well. Then we also have the Echo, which has 2 yokai drones, of course, which both have 2 rechargeable bursts, which deny a plant or any other action performed by an operator in game. And that is the denial they carry. No smoke, no Tachanka. That is all off the board. Also in the hot pockets, something that we have been seeing quite often lately.
Oh, that's a sneaky little Echo drone going on a sneaky little adventure, offering some support here to Thunder, but the potential for obviously C4s that could come in from that archives, from that core middle of this map that sometimes gets a little bit forgotten about. Just takes one bit of drone, one bit of intel, and a C4 for a timed swing is quite easy to put together. Sloth, he's trying to find his way in here for the first fight. They're lent into, but they're able to win it out there. Thunder still can't quite get in and get away. It's 2 for 2, but secretly finding a gunner at least keeps this. The consistent response from Na'Vi so far. Every single time a body has gone away from them, they've been able to get a response. There's the prelay on the C4, and they're just going to wait and hope Benja drifts a little bit closer to it. He's not too far away. He's still steadying his way across. It's a matter of time and intel. And here comes a time, sooner rather than later. Drop to the floor. The hammer's to blame.
Yeah, step back there into a bit of safety. So it wasn't picked up as a result. It's a trade. Secretly, Gatsloff will be down and injured himself, but there might be time to go for a pickup here. Benja, though, is going to be going on a bit of a hunt. He's aware of the fact that he might still be alive, spots him out, and recognizes he was indeed injured. At 3-on-3, 90 seconds on the clock, still no progress made towards that bottom floor. And if you look over to the left, you see that there is still the Hibana. There is still going to be 2 Heartbreach gadgets available on Uno, so these hatches should be opening up quite quickly here. And with that, you might actually be able to still mount an attack, considering there's only going to be 3 of them on the board. However, 2 of them carry most of the deniability that is on there.
Now they're trying to opt, they're trying to adapt and get themselves set up. A minute on, and the pressure might start to come down here. There's still a presence of Na'Vi inside Garage. And that's where Blur is keeping Benja at bay. A bit of a back and forth, and Benja's just not going to go for the risk. Because if he hands over this body balance before, and it is an awkward approach if they're paying attention, which obviously has just been proved, then it makes it so much tougher for the rest of the push to head its way downstairs, especially with all this utility still on. A smoke and a bit of cover, but it's just for movement. As they go over to the vault drop, they're going to take a double hatch drop here, and instead see if they can find themselves down the stairs. A spray and a pre-fire doesn't quite catch that player in the corner, waiting for the swing to come around from the vaults. The cooked grenade isn't what we're going to see, but it's a spray either side. Nath battles back, finds one. Now Benj is in a bit of a tricky situation. They don't have the kit, and Yak's just waiting for somebody to drift over the top. Heads up, gets locked down. It's a 2 versus 1. They're low on time, and it's a long-range spray. Grizzly finds his first couple this round, and importantly, their first round.
I was not quite sure if they had a yokai drone still alive there. The Echo went for the challenge, got picked up in the end. Little time left, so you would assume that wasn't the case. In Heroic, they find the first attack. It's on the tertiary side. It's something you often expect, but this is the moment when they need to start adapting. It's that point in the half where if the defensive team has won 2 or 3 rounds in a row, often the attack is going to be able to start making some changes happen. Especially if it's going to be the same sort of setups that we've seen. And, you know, nothing really changes here. I believe it's a completely identical operator lineup we're seeing from Na'Vi. And that means that Heroic, if they have had the time to properly study what went on in that first round of this match, might be able to bring in some adaptations here, either in playstyle or in picks. We see, you know, instead of being on the buck this time, we'll be on the fuse. It's an operator that could also be very well used here. And let's just see what went wrong again last time. They dropped the hatch. There was someone behind the cubicle that killed too. Fuse it right before you drop. You get the kill, or at least you force them out. You might be able to actually go for a drop there. So there's definitely some adaptations able to be made here with the just single operator change on the side of the fuse.
A Finker swap as well, and the Iana is brought back in, but that was here before. The Finker for the Dockerby gives me the idea that they want to be a little bit more aggressive. They want to try and take the fights inside the building, not play around with the big catches that they did before, which, to be fair, it worked. But then when you've got about 20 seconds to drop and you're just trying to go for a sort of Hail Mary smoke push inside the hatch in the back of stock, it just takes a vague understanding of direction, and suddenly you've been able to Pythagoras a couple of bodies down into the floor. Here, the drone's inside, rolling their way across. Benja's ready to try and hope somebody comes from stock to cause some damage against Sloth, but the main problem here might be that Pulse playing underneath. They're going to feed everything they can to Thunder, who's in a much more easier to escape position. This time he's not going to try and stick around. He's going to wait and just pull himself out. The danger and the risk is grenades.
Yeah, that's definitely it, but the swing is still there. Gave the call from the Pulse, knew exactly where it would be. Goes to the kill, and that is a man advantage yet once again here for the side of NAVI. And they need to make sure they hold on to it now, instead of letting Heroic be the ones that traded away this time. Because Navi's always been very quick on those trades. Gotta make sure that when you are the one that has the advantage, the other team does not get the opportunity to do so. 90 seconds left on the clock, and that feels like it's so far been a very quick round. I mean, we've only seen one kill, but there's not much time left here for the side of Heroic, and then you start looking at what they actually have. I mean, the fuse charges are going up, the clusters are dislocating players, the castle barricade magically stays up though, so they're not going to be able to push through that as of just yet, and as there is more charges going off here and there, they want to go for a bit of a drop, but they also know it's not quite safe yet, so an extra cluster charge, this one is going to be getting so many people potentially here. Blur is quite close, but he doesn't quite take enough damage.
I mean, it's a bold player to sit there with his heart scanner out and just hope the pucks don't connect. He really had a lot of faith in the distance he'd been able to put together. Another one pops in just on that connect to the C4. Tried to find a bit of revenge, and Blur's just been steady and focused as the shrapnel hits him in the face. He's making sure that he at least gets a read. 45 seconds, twice as much time as they had for the push before, but they still haven't started the push. The drones, they're trying to filter their way round, and Gorgona's trying to find his way in from underneath. He's concerned, obviously, about the chance of rotation, but look at the positioning of the player on blue stairs on the far side. Look at the positioning of the one ready on the hatches there. They are more than accepting of the fact that even if things go away from them in the site, they can bite the approach back. There's Nath getting in one more. The drop comes round on the stock hatch side. There's a swing round. Can't quite get the connected kill, but importantly, gets the follow-up. It's a 2 versus 3. Uno's going to see if he can stick it the second time. They're not going to go for the vertical rotation. Instead, takes the fight, loses out, but yet with a double, gets Navi their third.
I was going to say, creates a rotation twice there, opens up into the little side room, opens up the castle barricade as well with an impact, and with that, able to spray down those last two members, and Navi in that lead will continue to be so in a 1-3 scoreline. And we saw some adaptations, we saw some changes on the approach that Heroic wanted to make, just unfortunately not good enough yet for that site. And now we're headed towards the tellers and archives. Remember, this is the site where they basically went for a full top floor hold. They got that entry kill, and then they started to fall back. They started to bring back the game towards the actual side, play around it, let Heroic run out of time yet once again. So let's see how Heroic will handle it this time. The top floor, still crucial. You need it. You need it to get rid of the anchor positions in the actual side. As soon as you have that top floor control, you start opening up with the skeleton key, or in this case, the K-Room, because the skeleton key just got swapped out for Twitch. You're going to be moving those players out of their comfortable positions. You'll force them back towards either the main stairs or the side office, maybe even the lobby, the front teller's room. Just areas where they cannot be shot from above as they do start opening up there. And that does mean that the site is relatively safe if you know what entry points you need to watch.
So, Na'Vi, you've been able to put yourself into a pretty good stat so far. Even an even half on your defense is a good lead-in for most teams on this map, but there's always the other statistics that start to thread its way in. Heroic still think this is par for the course. They're happy to keep going with the momentum that they've sort of been battling back and forth on. The high-up drone's going to try and get a read on anything that might be buried in that corner. There's no vigil. to track or trick them this time round. There's a lot of pressure onto this lobby front, though. They're making sure they have some of the support. That Flores drone should get the pop. Just ran onto anything on that mirror window.
Let's get a mirror window itself, of course. That needs to be a touch drone to actually get the zap or a bullet. So next, RC Retiro is being sent in. Nave quite aggressive here. Spots about 2-3 players and now decides to fall back and jump down that hatch. Thunderdell with that slug shotgun, with that magnified scope as well, trying to take the challenges towards the ATM's area. And Heroic doesn't seem to be willing to go for any verticality here. They just want to go straight through the lobby into the actual sides, and all they really need is to get Thunder, but after that, get Nafe as well, because that suddenly opens everything up.
Well, the drones are doing everything they can to pull out Thunder, but they assume somebody's playing in that position anyway because they still need to get the control elsewhere. Blur, as you said, he's sort of setting himself up pretty. Thunder suffers the side of a grenade, but he's still standing, and they can't quite get themselves fully locked and loaded in because of the pressure, because of the threat. Nath here, he's waiting to get a little bit more pressure from Benja. Talking of, he's starting to open up that little connector wall down the backside and actually find secretly on the back of it, whether he knows that there's a player still buried into that lift slot or not. I guess he'll find out sooner rather than later. Actually, Nate's the first to find out. He's waiting for somebody to creep and crawl around.
Grenade just thrown into the elevator there. They might think it's going to be clear because of that explosion in there, but it's not true at all. Nate's still hiding there, and as Thunder took some small amounts of damage as well. Blur is still above, holding on to these entry points. If they do decide to go for a plant, it might just end the wrong way here for the side of Heroic, and that's Uno down. That's a diffuser drop. There's 45 seconds on the clock as Thunder goes down. Sloth aware of the person upstairs, so they need to go in deeper.
Nath finally strikes, finds Benja in the cover and support. They have a body on the window, but Grizzly is at least able to put a bit of balance back in. Nath's on a huge rotate here. He wants to see if he can try and strike from the opposite side, but in the meantime, they've been able to connect that diffuser with the floor. It's not a sound that we've heard throughout this game so far. Could it be the start of something? Gorgona suffers next. There is a player that was caught out on the rotate. The beepers are a play, but he suffers his own. A little pocket caught in, and there's Yak getting the instant response. 20 seconds, Grizzly. Where's he going to go? That's the big worry right now. He's setting himself up with a bit of range, a bit of a stretch here. They got to try and make sure they can try and connect the dots with the 2 versus 1. The first spray comes through. The C4 doesn't quite get the catch. They're safe behind him around the archives. The solid bit of wall means that he's got to go for the rotate. He catches out the first. He can't get to the second in time. And the plant spot cost them because it gave the protection to the diffuser.
The oh dear is coming out as well from Nave there, because they also knew, okay, you know, as soon as you start shooting, as soon as you get that call, he's all the way at the back. He's in the teller's front office there. Well, there's nothing really they can do. If you have one challenging, there's no way he's going to be able to pick up those kills. And exactly that happened. And 1-4, Navi still in the lead, are continuing to expand it as well. And where the lockers last time was the winning round for Heroic, we see an alternated lineup coming out from Navi. The smoke makes an entrance here alongside the mirror and the echo as an extra bit of denial that comes through. Still have secret in that mute as well. So 2 C4s, 3 smoke canisters, and 2 yokai drones are on the board. That is what Heroic need to deal with if they want to go for a plant either way. So what we might see again is going to be a bit of that brute forcing onto the actual site, try and push through rather than going for the plant, because, you know, if you try and open up, you know, the default wall in servers and you hope to go for a plant by, you know, tucking yourself in right on the planting spot, you're probably not going to be able to come very far, especially not all the utility that has been put up. So they need to be aware of that. Sloth, however, already sneaking in here with the nuke.
This is quick.
Yeah, might. Oh, actually gets caught. Yak saw him.
It's a very quick trip here. It was a gamble. I mean, the nuke going in that aggressively. I don't know if they had any intel on what was sort of being put there, or they just thought, I've got an idea, lads, and it didn't quite come together. Either way, he had an idea, lads, and it didn't quite come together.
No, definitely did not. He hoped to go for a quick push there, and I mean, if he was maybe a second earlier, he could have been catching someone off on the rotate there and would have still been alive in that case, but in the end, he was the one that died. And Heroic are on a man disadvantage here on the basement attack. So Sloth carries 2 grenades. Also, of course, a very capable gunner in the hands of Heroic. Not going to be able to make an impact here. Basically just given away for free. No utility used, no damage done. Nothing really gained from it either, as it's ground that is currently not taken by Heroic. So They're in a 4v5 for this round, and they need to try everything they can to bring it back into their own favor so they can lock off this half of the 2-4.
You don't want to put the excitement into the Na'Vi camp too early because they've lost 5 1-ups before on their defense, and they're going to see if they can at least try and keep some of that calm, that cool, that can try and drive them into this. Heck, they even lost a 6 1-up. But at the same time, you're looking at Heroic here on their attacks. They haven't quite been able to have the same pace that's put them close to the top in these opening engagements. There's been a little bit of a disconnect in terms of these approaches, as you can see on terms of that door, as they try and funnel their way through, waiting to hope for the catch on the player behind the mirror window, but they're going to be solid, steady, and locked in for now.
Yeah, Yak is just going to wait here. He's not going to be moving at all. If that grenade doesn't roll far enough, which it does, it picks up Yak, and that is going to be a good opening. There's one Nitro off the board. There's also a player in red gone, and still a second grenade available. We'll potentially roll that in as soon as Uno is ready to go for the plant there to take out a second player that wants to try and deny. As soon as this plant goes through, Secretly needs to move in to potentially get that C4 in. And the grenade's already being cooked. It's rolling right around the corner, but it's not in time this time. As the mirror window gets smashed, Secretly needs to go aggressive, but he misses the opportunity to. Oh, misses the C4 as well as he gets taken out.
Oh, but Blur, the backline player with a heavy-hitting gun, brings a lot back in. It's now a spray fight onto the door, but look at the timer. And Nath will be well aware of this. Benja, he's going to pop some bullets down. He pulls himself and rotates to the other side. He's, well, maybe going to stick it. At this point, he doesn't really have much of a choice. Nath, he rotates round. The pings come through. He's dropped and pistol swung. Nath connects the dots for the 5th for Na'Vi there. The Echo is able to pull it back this time around. One connection, one round there for Heroic on their attack. And remember when we talked about something at the very beginning of this game, and we said, oh no, Na'Vi don't have the choice of the OT side.
Yeah, they were too late on the banning phase,
yeah.
So after... Yeah, we said that. After Heroic chose attack, they got attack again.
And then we said, how's it going to go in the game?
We need to see if we reach OT first.
Oh, they probably regret picking attack first now.
We don't know yet. Maybe the defense goes worse.
It couldn't go much worse.
It couldn't go much worse, but there's always an opportunity to. Anyway, Heroic now on the defense, and they're choosing to go open area as well. They are bringing some mutes here to stop them from opening up the wall, the quad wall, instantly. Make them do some work. Besides that, still having the opportunity to get some Nitro cells over. No impact on the side of Uno, however, and that means that as soon as those... you know, mute jammers are destroyed and the Nitros do not get used to get rid of any potential heart breach on that position, it means that the wall will open up. And that is something they will have to learn to deal with and potentially are capable of as well, considering the lineup they're bringing here. So, 3 minutes on the clock. It's the action phase. A bulletproof came inside the lobby to provide them vision from one side, whereas the players are trying to hold on to the top for the rest of it.
I still don't want to put any curses out there. I don't want to cast a curse anything. The game's still going, and as
Fresh predicted Heroic.
Na'Vi have struggled. Well, it sounds fresh predictions. I mean, I think pretty much all of us predicted Heroic, and you know, it's not just that Heroic are underperforming, I would say, but Na'Vi are outperforming how they've played before. We'll get the truest taste, as I said, now on the attacks where they've generally struggled so far this split. But it's also the first game where all 5 players have the Na'Vi player card.
Ah, yes, definitely so. So they get like plus 20 synergy.
Milosh that tweeted about it, and then Blur was like, fine, I'll change it. So the symmetry bonus is coming through, actually, yeah?
Milosh is going to be taking full credit for that if Navi's going to be taking a win.
I could be wrong.
I mean, we've all pointed it out. I think Milosh tweeted about it, yes, for sure.
And Blur responded and said, fine, for the next Playday, I'll change it. I mean, we can't argue with the science.
No, science is there, and you know, it has been proven by now. Also, has been proven is that there's a player out there easily picked up. Thunder with the entry into Benja got droned out, struggled a little bit trying to get through the rotation there, and as a result, was picked up early. No trades coming through. Nitro cell already used as well by Grizzly to no avail. Sloth now is the one that has still in pocket, and already ripped off the Velcro. Waiting for it to be the right spot, waiting to try and figure out where Blur is actually pushing from so he can actually get that kill. These gunshots definitely going to be helping. Blur's walking right in it. Oh, don't start hammering. If you sledge it, it will blow up. And Blur, for now, escapes his own fate there as he runs all the way over to the open area side. Could have easily been blown up there as Sloth had a little bit of information.
quick pressure here onto the Stoke side. They're getting themselves that hatch open. We saw a couple of late pushes here from the side of Heroic, and well, this time they're trying to just make sure their options are put together, including these angles. Thunder here. So far, he's been able to get into this round and get a bite. His biggest problem is being beaten back pretty much instantly. Can he grow? Can he start pushing that body divide into a more kind of positive spin here? Can he start warming up into the aggression and the freedom that you can be offered afterwards? 35 seconds, and this one downs Blur. The pickup comes through with the gun, and well, now there's pressure onto the door of Sloth.
Finally finds that kill, but he needs to be careful now. A red ping comes in and a pre-fire as well. Yak falls on the hands of Sloth, who's just holding tight here in the teller's office behind his mirror window, is looking to make sure that at least the teller's area will not fall. Of course, it's not the side, but there's only 10 seconds left, and as Thunder misses this first opportunity to get the kill, it's just a 4-2 situation now. Nathan secretly need to try and get the bomb down, but will fail to do so. Heroic win their first defensive round.
They got there as the lock-in from Sloth, and to be honest, they kind of had ideas of where the players were. You could see that they'd set themselves up, Na'Vi. They'd obviously got that entry very quickly, and then from then on sort of stagnated a little. They were giving themselves options, sure, but you still got to try and make use of them. The players on the side of Heroic, they weren't really threatened up until it kind of mattered. They were still comfortable. They were holding the positions, the sort of green. They still had obviously Sloth causing problems there on the split of archives, and you know, it becomes that moment of, all right, Na'Vi, you can set up a lot of different things, but you still got to choose to do one of them.
They have it. That nitro cell onto Blur might have been a crucial turning point, because as soon as Blur died, the vertical pressure is gone. Sloth is safely allowed to dig himself in wherever he wanted to, because nothing else was opening there. He finds that second kill, and suddenly an entire side of the map has no more pressure. And as they are setting themselves up for an open area hold here for a basement defense, it's going to be a matter of time, or, you know, just trying to figure out how it will work in the end. As that seems like a rehost is underway on the side of Na'Vi. So Heroic on their second defense, going down towards the basement, and we're in the last couple of seconds before we went for the rehost. Saw a bit of an extension here in the open area. It seems like we might get that again. I see some ankle holes being opened up, so if they do jump into the copy room, they will be taken out as a result. And Grizzly will continue to fortify the kitchen area. Hatches, of course, open or left soft. It allows you to continue challenging attackers that might be going down there if they want to go for a direct approach through servers, trying to go for a plant near the A bomb site. You just pop up the hatch and you find an easy kill.
Goyo on the board now. They've prepped themselves up, some of those Vulcans or hot pockets ready to be popped around the default plant spot, and the approach coming from dirt. It's going to start from the top though. Thunder's going to see if he can lead in with the entry the same way he did in the previous round. Hot droned his way around the corner, but it's a little bit locked in. So he's just going to wait for some of this confidence. Na'Vi knows that they can play this top floor, and all the drones are making sure they have an idea. It's kind of easy to rotate down, pretty impossible to rotate up if a team is being this clear about their clear here, and the pace that they've been able to get in, and the swing comes through. There it is, Thunder. They win this time round, drops the drone on the door. Gogona gets an instant response.
Yeah, he got pre-fired there by the Vector. It's a high rate of fire gun, so as soon as that comes around the corner, I mean, it won't last long, but it might be just enough. Grizzly drops through the hatch in the middle of an engagement there, needed to make sure that he would live through. Of course, there's no way you're going to be outgunning an LMG with just that UMP. You're going to be running out of ammo way sooner than the M249 that Capital brings. And they're just trying to lock off these angles. They're still a bit afraid, though, of a potential player inside the kitchen, so we'll rotate around a different way to make sure that the blue stairs will be held. Do not allow the player to get up there. You could easily use a asphyxiating bolt up here. Will not be caught by the ADSs, only by magnets, so that might be something they'll try to go for later.
Well, now with that hatch open, that player inside blue's in a trickier situation because his rotation, his freedom is now not so sure. There's a pop on a Goyo to stop Kayak getting in and getting his control round on the back. The Yak is on a bit of a slowed attack now and has to wait 15 seconds. There's the break on that soft door anyway. It seemed like they'd already locked themselves in with a hope of no escape. A couple of drones and a couple of pops of a shotgun. He returns his way to the top, but look at the timer. Once again, Na'Vi, they're finding themselves a little bit slowed. Wins out an important fight there. Benji's going for another. The grenade gets caught out there, close on the swing round, is hoping to see it, but the canister gives him a little bit more time. They're just going to have to take the drop into the hatch. 30 seconds now, and the diffuser is right above the hatch itself.
Yeah, they want to go for a drop in just a couple of seconds here, but keep in mind, Gorgona still close with that nitro. The fire is still burning bright, but secretly found a way to actually get in and go for the plant. But as soon as that Velcro was being ripped there, they think that the C4 will be coming through. Of course, not the case. And now you have 3 players inside of the CCTV area, and they need to go for a plant, and there is still going to be the C4 that comes in, but it won't hit like that. It misses. They need to go for a gunfight instead, and Yak is there for the cover. It's a 2-on-2 retake situation now with the Echo dying. Only Grizzly who gets taken out by Secretly, and a missed drone C4 there. It would have been an easy round win if you just tossed it in the middle of both plant spots there. That would have been your round, but Na'Vi steal it away.
Oh, that was a little bit dangerous there. Secretly on a sliver of health. All caps Yak attack.
The end though, and that is all that matters. And now there's 4 rounds for them to try and find a single victory here over any given heroic attack. And as that is a mirror window inside the kitchen, that will be used to stop them from gaining control of the top of square, on the top of blue.
But it's still not over. It's still not over. Heroic know this. Even if they pulled this back now, it wouldn't be the biggest comeback victory against Na'Vi this split.
Will Blur this time find success on the Nuke, going and inserting himself early into the map? It's going to be the big question. I mean, he will find the garage relatively unspotted. There is a bulletproof camera, but currently not activated or operated. That means he can sneak around. He uses the help presence when he is in view, when he's in range. Thus, we'll be recharging it as we go on as well. They might have a bit of a clue here on the side of Heroic, but if Blur finds himself... Oh, that's a pink to come through. They might as well defeat these, but it's Blur with the very first kill. The grenade will be used to get rid of that camera. And as Thunder finds one on Gorgona as well, it's a 3-on-5, and Blur will just pull out and try and slow down this round.
So Sloth couldn't find his own Nook entrance, and then he found the one of the opponents, but Blur drove it home, got the kill, and most importantly pulled themselves back because 2 minutes, and they have a 2-body advantage. They have so much locked in. Uno now has to wait and pay attention to this garage, which means that it's even trickier call and push. Blur's getting his drone all the way in, sees that the player is there, and sees that they're still putting some pressure in, but can feed this information to the rest, and there it is, fed. Thunder, he's able to strike, gets one more on the top floor, a triple kill, and Uno is all that is left of Heroic for the chance at this bank. The new addition, the new player for them, but the veteran of the game itself. This would be a perfect moment to step up, but it is such a challenge.
They know exactly that he's downstairs as well, though. Has spotted and shot multiple drones. Gets the very first kill. It's the 1 out of 5 he needs, but then is too well focused on that drone. Gets taken out from the player in garage, and the GGs gets called. It's Na'Vi that get an important win under their belts. Many would have expected Heroic to take it home here easily, but instead it's Na'Vi, this time with all 5 operator cards onto their own logo, to take